afternoon, everyone. Can anybody hear me back there? Good afternoon, and thank you to make Oakland better for your invitation today. I'm not sure if it had anything to do with the time you chose, but I want to say it was perfect because it's in between my daughter's soccer games. I'm going to leave here after for the Redwood City. It's also ready for the Warriors to play. Thank you for doing it. I would like to recognize two of our council members that arrived. Libby Schaaf, who's here. And they just happen to all three be on public safety. So I'm going to go through some brief synopsis of the department, where we are, what we're doing with academies, what it takes to recruit people, and some of the other issues that are facing the department challenges. This is a one chart of the police department. It's where we assign everyone in the department, all 900, and I think it's 935 as of now. This is where they all are, including me. I'm at the top of the list there. But there's actually a couple of changes on it because this is such a living and moving document. There's always changes. So a couple of amendments. Captain Joyner is not in District 5. That's being commanded by Acting Captain Coleman. And in animal service, we actually hired a temporary manager until we can fill that position permanently. His name is Dave Cronin. He is a retired police sergeant who actually worked in the animal services before he retired and did a very good job. So this is how the department is organized. There's 4 bureaus. 3 of them are commanded by deputy chiefs. The one that's not commanded by deputy chiefs is commanded by Director Garcia, finance and management portion. He also commands the recruiting and personnel section. We'll talk about what we've been doing to recruit and attract valuable candidates to the city of Oakland. Here's our police staff in detail. This calls for start proposing for 4 academies over the next 2 years. And then by the end of fiscal year 2015, we want to be about 697. That takes into account the attrition rate both for the academy and also within the department. We lose about 4 officers a month. This month is a little higher because of the timing of disability retirement hearings, and officers actually terming out and going to other departments or just simply moving on. We'll also get another spike in retirements at the end of the year because of the way that retirements are calculated. Most officers wait until the end of the year so they can basically avoid some taxes, and also the calculation for retirement is better when you have at least 12 months under your belt. We also have in the budget already that's been approved back in January, 20 police service technicians. I want to thank Councilmember Schaaf for really pushing that, along with the late attorney examiner. Those positions are already filled. The police service technicians are very important because they are non-sworn positions that cost less but have a very big impact on officers' ability to have free time to patrol the streets. There was a survey that was done a number of years ago by IACP that looks at how many minutes should an officer spend in a 1-hour shift per hour doing proactive work. The average is about 30% of the shift. In Oakland, it's 1 minute. Okay? That's because our officers are going from call to call to call, and they don't have enough time to be proactive. So by staffing or providing the 20 police service technicians, it gives us an opportunity to assign these non-sworn personnel to take certain calls for service that does not require an officer or a gun in a badge. For example, your car is blocking, you get out your house one day and the car is blocking the driveway. Okay? We send an officer to that. The officer has to wait around for a tow truck. That takes about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, it's an hour before they get here. Okay? You do not need a sworn officer to do that. So that's going to be handled by a police service technician, or more importantly, by the Parking Enforcement Bureau, who actually works for me now in this organization. So that's just some of the things that we do. Taking reports, right? We get a lot of complaints about the calls for service. It takes too long for us to get there. So we're looking at some reports that are not going to Communications dispatchers, these are very, very, very key positions also. This is a proposal in the budget to hire 5 more in addition to what we have. You'll also see later on in the slide a more comprehensive development of a civilian staffing plan. We can hire 900, 1,000 officers, or as Professor McCurdy said Wednesday night, 1,200 officers. I think that's great. But what we need to also have is an equal amount of civilian staff personnel to support the work that all these officers are doing. Payroll, answering calls for service, processing evidence, all those things that need to be done in conjunction with hiring sworn police officers. We feel it's necessary that we have the same level of support, or level of funding to hire civilian personnel to support the work of the officers. Here's a brief breakdown of the police staffing. You can see the one in yellow, that's already underway. That class graduated in March. That's the 166. The other class that started, sorry, the 168. The 168 is, that's starting in September. Okay, so there is a class already in progress. That is the 167. And they started on March 25th. And they will graduate in September. September, we're going to start another class right after that started. Back you up just a few months ago, we actually started our first academy in about 4.5 years. And that class graduated on March 22nd. 3 days later, we started another class. So we're going to continue this cycle. And if you see in the red, that's another class starting, the 169 starting in December. This is the proposal. We want to get to, then they graduate in May. If you look at the next slide, the next column, there's another class that starts in July of next year, and that ends in December. Another class will start in December. The number 40 on there is the actual graduating class. We know that we're gonna put more people in the class than it's actually going to graduate. So we normally average about 50 to 55 people in the class, and because of attrition, injuries, or whatever reason, we can't. We know that the people are going to leave. And so the 40 is our best estimate of how many people will actually graduate. So for the class that just graduated, we started off with about 55 people. We graduated to 39. So we're pretty close to that. This current class that's in session, we started with 51. And I think Captain Figueroa will speak to this a little bit more. We're down to 46 people. So we're getting close. That's why we try to over-hire so that the actual number of officers that are graduating meets the needs of the department. This is the civilian staffing support that we're proposing. As you can see, just at the bottom there, we're talking about police communication. It says 17 minus 5. That's the 5 that we want to hire this year. Okay, so that number 56 is still accurate. We're hoping to get the 5 that's in the budget approved. This is what we need to fully staff the department. Okay, to have an equal number of civilians proportional to what the ask is for the sworn officers. Police salary. We get a lot of questions about what is Oakland's, what's our comparable cost. And Lydia, these numbers are actually correct. So, yes, thank you. My apologies for those of you who were here Wednesday. I had my base salary for the officers off. The bottom step, the top step was fairly accurate. So this is what officers make in Oakland compared to other cities around here. If you look at the difference between the top and the bottom, there are 6 steps in the department. Top step being the highest one, step 6. So every year you get a raise, which takes you up to 129.99 per year. We're second to San Francisco, which was not unusual considering they have 1,900 officers and close to 1 million in population. But this is a very comparable paying job, as you can see, to other departments. Now, I will tell you, we earn every single penny every day, okay, because this is not an easy job, and compared to some of the other places, I'm sure police work there is a little different than it is in Oakland. So I'm very grateful that we have a salary that allows us to keep and attract new officers when we go out to the field. So, academy stages, I'm going to ask Bill Garcia to talk about that and tell you a little bit about himself since he was introduced. But he'll tell you about what it takes to recruit, where we go, how we get it, and the process involved, and how to get to where we are. Bill?
Hi, can everybody hear me okay?
Recently told us, as well as San Francisco.
So when you talk about comparable salaries, it's more than just money. Okay, we have to really look at what we're getting. If you look at some of the other benefits that an officer gets here, it's on par with most other places. As you know, recently, probably in the last 3 years, the officers began paying into their pension. So you see that number there, 9%. If you look at BART, they don't pay. San Jose pays 19%. San Francisco pays 9%. So that's out-of-pocket expenses for officers, even though they're making 102. It's not that they're actually making 102. They're 102 plus the 9% that's being paid out. The working conditions, all the things that we have to do to make officers' jobs more attractive here. So even though an officer may come here and be well compensated, we have to work on improving the conditions here. Better equipment, better cars, better radios, all the things that goes into coming to work every day. Vacation and sick time is very comparable, very lucrative here in the department. I think we're for entry-level officers, we get 3 weeks for the first couple of years, and then it goes up incrementally over after year 7. And then you get longevity, which doesn't, I don't think other departments have longevity. Let's move on. It takes you a while to get to that. So, as I said, working in Oakland is a very, very tough environment. We have actually one of the toughest departments and one of the most challenging cities in the United States. Throughout what we've heard from some of the experts working here. So, it's more than just money. It's how we treat officers, how we attract them, how we make them stay. There's, when I was in the military, we had a mention, or I'm sorry, Bill mentioned, but you got, signing bonuses. We used to get 72 hours of liberty, which is 4 days off in a row. All those things that could be used to enhance officers' ability to stay and be more productive. What could I ask the question?
For we seniors who are challenged in many ways, do we have technical help to make that in focus?
Is the owner of the projector here, Jay Asher? Is the owner of it? I have no idea how to use it. Yeah, I think it was
Well, the first so that I can see.
£100 rural development, I suppose, is the NSA. And that was just touched on ever so briefly. We now have a situation with the compliance director who, as far as I can see, has been given extremely broad powers, possibly quite a bit broader than anybody anticipated. And as Deanna pointed out, the report is due out very shortly as to what the plan is. But with that level of authority, when we're talking about this, are we really going to have control over the things that we're talking about? Is there a way to work this out with the compliance director and strategic policy partners and the monitor to get us to the end of this road?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
In all sincerity, we've had a lot of meetings, especially this last week, where all the people you mentioned, with the exception of the monitor, have been involved in a lot of day-to-day operations, just learning about the department, and having that type of level of involvement really helps us to shape the future of the department. And in the end, I do believe that a lot of this goes towards what really needs to happen in Oakland, which is fully staffing the police department so that we can do a better job of fighting crime and making Oakland safer. So, to answer your question, yes, I do believe that because of the level of involvement of the compliance director, the strategic policy partners have been very, very supportive of our efforts to look at ways to make the department better, to develop that comprehensive crime reduction plan, which we can start to get a lot of feedback, a lot of reports, draft reports out right now. Looking at that, I think that the compliance director and those two groups have been working closely together all of my staff. I've been involved in a lot of those discussions this week, and it's encouraging to see that everyone is getting on the same page, which is making open safer, getting into compliance, and fighting crime, reducing violence.
I have one other nutrition question I want to raise, and this has to do not with patrol officers. This has to do with going farther up the line. As we know, we need to have sergeants and we need to have lieutenants. And I've heard some rather frightening things about attrition as far as sergeants are concerned, and as far as who is and is not taking the exam to become a sergeant. I wonder if you could comment on that, and if that poses a challenge for us.
It is a challenge because the backbone of the department under my supervisors are field sergeants. And we're looking at ways to really make that position more attractive. We actually went through my last round of selection. We have a list that's good for 18 months. The list was, we have about 5 months left that expires in September, but I've pretty much exhausted that list. So I'll be coming to Deanna here shortly and the personnel department to try to start a new test sooner than September. So the reason for that is we have a very young department. There's a lot of rules in place that prevents a lot of good rules. So when I came on the department, you have to have 3 years on before you can test to become a sergeant, which is way too young. Now we moved that to 5 years. We want people to have a little more, a lot more experience under the belt. But the average officer takes the test for about 7 years on the department, which is a good time for them to start testing. So we also have a lot of young officers. We also have a lot of senior officers. So a lot of those senior officers are reaching the age where they can retire at age 50. So we just did, Guild staff just provided me with a report that shows that between for the next 3 years, there's 171 people that are eligible to retire at the age of 50. Okay? And that's a very, very scary proposition. We have to start looking at it. And most of them are supervisors as well. Lieutenants, captains, deputy chiefs. So that is something that, we went through this probably about 10 years ago, where we woke up one day and then all of a sudden, all the senior guys were gone. It was just us young guys back then that were there. So we benefited from that because we got, we took the test, we got promoted, and we were able to take the next test and got promoted. There were so many vacancies in senior, mid, and senior management level positions that we're able to fill those positions quickly. But the downside of that is that we have to learn the job. And so we're trying to avoid that now. I'm actually working with one of my commanders, Captain Outlaw, to develop a succession planning program. She went to a class that's put on my post when we started developing, looking at people that are young, that are going to be here for the next 10 to 15 years, and be trained, make the job, make the position more attractive, and encourage them to take the test and put them in positions where they can be successful. So all those things are in the works to be part of it. So I saw those numbers. I knew that there was a lot of people that could retire, but when you actually look at the numbers on paper and you break it down by year, it's like, wow, there are 171 people that can be gone here in the next few years.
I know that last fall we were talking about 5 rate of attrition of 5 per year, and now we're talking about 4 per year. From what you're seeing, maybe something per month. I'm sorry.
I wish it was per year.
We were talking last fall about 5 per month. Now we're talking about 4 per month. And what you're saying, may be something ultimately higher than either one of those numbers. How does that compare to other jurisdictions?
I don't know what that looks like in other places. I don't want to guess, but I just know that our numbers have actually it's gone up and it's gone down. About 10 years ago, it was about 2.5 per month. And then we're up to about 5. Now it's hovering about 4, and 4.5 is half a person rounded up. So I don't know what other jurisdictions are. I know San Francisco, they have a drop program. Drop program. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the drop program. This is where you retire from the department and you're allowed to remain there for, in some cases, 5 years. They pay you your retirement. It goes into a separate account. You receive your basic pay without benefits. And so you're allowed to do that. So they're at the end of their drop program. So they're losing about 300 officers. So they have to now start making because I know Greg Stern and I are very good friends, and he is pushing to get, they have a rule there where they cannot go below like 1891. That's the number. They cannot fall below that. So he actually decides to go above that to about 2,000 officers, so that he can never fall below that number. So I know they're experiencing a lot of turnover. That's why I'm turning it up.
I think this is probably also on the subject of academies. We have one question who's challenging whether either 4 or 6 per month is a realistic figure, and hence whether we're going to get the 697 based on that assumption. What has the department done in the past, say when we got up to 830, in terms of numbers of academies per year, and what would that involve if we wanted to see a more aggressive recruitment and training of officers to get us to 800, if not 900 officers?
Can you repeat the first part of your question?
The question is, what has the department done in the past in terms of more than 2 academies per year? And what would it need to do now if we wanted to be more aggressive and to get to either get to 800 to 900, or for that matter, get to 700 if the 4 or 5 per month rate is unrealistic?
So one of the things we've done is have multiple simultaneous academies. So we have academies here in Oakland. We also contract out with other jurisdictions. For example, Santa Clara County Sheriff's Department was kind enough to allow us to run our own academy at their facilities at a very, very low cost. We've also done work with the Alameda County Sheriff's Department. We've had one academy there over the last 5 years or so. But those are some of the ways that we can do that in Southern Ireland. And just as a way of history, when I came on the department, we had academies every 3 months in a very small setting. There's a lot of overlap. There was always academies every 3 months. That went on for about 2 years. So it's not something that is unique to the department. And certainly the classrooms that I was in, we couldn't hold more than 40 people at a time. So we've expanded our classrooms down to different buildings. And I think as Captain Figueroa mentioned, we can hold up to 60. So it's doable.
Next question, David, which says, social change to be effective must include Christian elements. How are the faith communities participating in the public safety?
The faith community has actually been very, very supportive with the department. When I first took over, I formed a chaplain advisory group. I also have about 14 members, non-denominational members that are part of my police chaplain network. But more importantly, what they've been doing is been very active in my ceasefire program. So the ceasefire model calls on the community to get actively involved. We found that the most successful way for us to do that is through the faith community. They've been very, very supportive, led by a small group of clergy members who are part of my clergy advisory group that have been out there doing the night walks in several of the communities where we've seen spike in violence, similar to what is being done with SAVE and Pastor Zach Carey. So there's been I've been very impressed, very pleased, very appreciative of the work of the faith community, because they're really taking ownership, organizing the citizens to get behind us, make Oakland safe.
I'll read the next one verbatim as well, which is, did any of you have comments about the costs of not funding your office?
No.
Thank you. We've got some questions about the strategic policy partners process, I guess. Sometimes referred to as the Bradman report, when I would be more inclined to refer to as the Boston program. And the question is, when will the plan be released? And I think that should be addressed both as the short-term plan and a long-term plan. Will there be a release to the public, a draft release to the public? And is it anticipated that the report will address staffing and how to get to the desired number of officers?
Okay, so as you know, when we started this with the strategic policy partners, this is actually There are a number of milestones that we're working on. So we held our second to the last town hall meeting yesterday in Councilmember Guy's district. I think I saw some of you there. Thank you. 2 days in a row. But, so our next step in that, in gathering all the information from the community is a youth forum, which will take place, I believe it's May 9th at 4:30, buying pizza. But we want to hear from the youth. And then, so we also have an advisory group that's chaired by Assistant Chief Rubio that will take all that information and vet the long-term plan out so that we have a voice, we have a voice in what the plan will look like. The short-term plan is in draft right now, so is the organization assessment. I think I just set the actual milestones and due dates in Santana. We're going to review that. Bob Wasserman was here last week. He's gone till I think a couple of weeks. Bill Bradford will be in town along with his team on Wednesday, and I plan to meet them and get some idea of when those milestones and their reports will be laid out. We promised that before the report's filed that we were going to go to the community, so we're actually doing that right now. We're in the process of gathering all the information. All the comments from the community meeting have been placed on the website. The city has, if you go to the city website, there's a link to all the comments that we've received so far. Joe DeBreeze and all the NSCs have been doing a fantastic job of gathering all the information. We're probably not going to have yesterday's meeting up for about a week or so. And then we'll post the other ones later on so we can see what your comments are. This is a very, I must say, I'm very pleased with the process. Everything that they have promised to do, they've done. Then, remember, we started this in March because that's when the final work started. Everything takes time. I think the final report is due 5 months after we started. So we're looking at roughly August. But the vetting process has been in place. All the stakeholders have had a chance to comment on it. And I'm really looking forward to meeting with the youth because I don't think we've ever had an opportunity for them to share their voices and concerns. So we want to really take that into consideration. So we've been working on that very diligently to get their voice heard as well.
I really appreciate all of you folks taking a beautiful Sunday afternoon to sit in here and talk with us today. And I promised you all we would go until 3:30 and not ask.
I didn't answer your second question.
Oh.
So your question was, what do we do with the officers at 700, 800,
Yes,
900?
thank you.
When we get there? So, as it stands right now, there's 38 officers going to field training. That means that they are riding with another officer, learning how to be a police officer. They're supposed to require that to go for about 16 weeks. So they're going to be done around July, mid-July, or so. Then they'll become solo officers. Those officers will all remain in patrol. And we don't have any plans to move them or move other people around. Maybe a couple of minor changes or movements in the department, but for the most part, all those officers will remain filling our much-needed open beats. Okay, we have a huge hole patrol where we average about 20 to 25 open beats per day. So we're currently using overtime to backfill that because that's the only way that we're going to be able to meet those demands. So my goal is in July to place all those officers to fill those vacancies that are existing. As we move forward and we get more officers, we want to continue to build up patrol. That is the essential job. Nothing else we can do, okay? And we should be able to respond to calls for service in a timely manner and catch people that are committing crimes, right? Provide safety for this community, part of our vision, part of our mission. The next thing I want to do is increase the staffing in our investigation section. So as we grow and we get more officers, I want to make sure that there's enough sufficient investigators so that when officers make good arrests, quality arrests, that there's someone there at the other end to help charge cases and follow up and prevent recidivism by making sure we catch the right people. Then we're going to move to some of our proactive things. So I got a very strong passion for motors. Okay, I think that they are one of our best. We got our best bang for officers that are visible, riding motorcycles, providing presence, hearing that motorcycle coming down the street. It sends chilling messages to people that are thinking about doing crime. I just don't think we have enough right now. We don't have any. We just have a few officers that ride because they want to ride. They don't do it as often as they should. We get this size, and the challenges that we face here in Oakland, we need to have a fully functioning motor unit, and I'm gonna start to build that by January of next year. Looking at adding at least 8 riders in one summer. Next, we're gonna go to walking officers as we get to continue to grow. So there's a few walking officers scattered in the downtown area. I want to get that up to at least throughout the rest of the city, being deployed by